Griffy and Grey live in a savanna next to a desert somewhere in Africa. They don't know the location exactly themselves if you ask them. Griffy is a giraffe and Grey is a zebra. They live in the same area and meet every now and then at the same watering hole, as they do today. Griffy is chewing on a green leaf and is lying in the shade. The giraffe asks the zebra, "Tell me, have you had anything exciting going on today? Do you have a story to share with me, Grey?" The zebra replies to the giraffe, somewhat bored, Not very much. I met a bird, and he told me that whenever it gets chillier and cold in his home country, he says this is called winter, he travels south with his family and many other bird families to us, to the savannah, because it's warmer here. Griffy stops chewing on the green leaf momentarily and digs in. What's cold after all? Well, the opposite of warm, I guess, Grey replies. You think? You guess? Griffy asks. I'm sure the bird and his family will soon return here to drink water. Then let's ask him. While the two friends wait at the watering hole for the bird to return, the sun continues to set. But just before sunset, the bird comes flying to the watering hole with his family and many other bird families. Hey you, birdie, Griffy calls out. We have a question for you. What is cold anyway? Can you describe it for us? The bird, which speaks a funny animal accent from the north, explains. Look, cold is when the days get shorter and the temperature changes, and it's not so hot anymore. So cold is the opposite of hot. Do you understand? The two furry friends look at each other and nod slightly. Would you like me to tell you a story from the country I just came from? Birdie asks, and Griffy and Grey nod with sparks of excitement in their eyes and in their hearts. My family and I just came from a country up north where the summer was scorching, almost as hot as it is here right now. And the humans were complaining about the heat. But the little humans, the children in that country, have a trick to beat the heat. They ate something they call ice cream. Ice cream is something like frozen water. Griffy and Grey looked at him, puzzled. But what is frozen water? I don't understand, Griffy asks. Birdie takes a deep breath and explains. Look, humans are often hard to understand, but every now and then they have good ideas. I've watched through a window as big humans dump water and fruits into a magic machine, and after a while, little humans pick up the scoops. They lick the colorful scoops, the frozen water, with their tongues and have great fun doing it. Griffy and Grey thought this sounded too good to be true and asked the bird. And the whole thing is not dangerous? Eating something that comes out of a magic machine and that is colorful? But Birdie assured that the humans, the big and the small, ate a lot, even a very lot of ice cream during the hot times. They were always happier and more peaceful afterwards, at least for some moments. Meanwhile, The sun had set. Griffy and Grey couldn't sleep. They were too fascinated by the thought of ice cream in the world up north. "Grey, if we stay here, we will never know what ice cream is. We will never know how ice cream tastes. We will never see the magic machine and lick ourselves happy." After all, the old rabbit once advised us that there are moments in life when you should be brave. Do you think that this is our moment to be brave? Grey knew his friend well and knew what he was thinking. He thought for a long time, but suddenly said, "This is our moment to be brave. This is our moment to start an adventure." When the sun rose over the savannah the following day, Griffy was already awake, waiting for Grey to open his eyes so the adventure could begin. "Grey, wake up! We have an adventure to go on." The zebra stretched out, smiling at Griffy. "Today is a good day to be brave. Let's go to the abandoned village. They say there is a magic carpet that can fly. If we find that, we can fly anywhere. We can find ice cream." On their way to the abandoned village, they passed the watering hole. They told Birdie about their decision to search for colorful frozen water, ice cream, in the shape of scoops. Birdie couldn't believe what they were telling him and immediately called all the other birds so they could overhear that idea. "And where exactly do you want to fly with the carpet? You don't know anything about the air. You only know your savannah," one of the birds said. "Can you take us with you and show us how to find our way in the air?" Grey said with a pleading tone in his voice. "Please," Griffy cried. The bird elder was not fond of the idea and suggested that the two friends practice and do flying exercises with their carpet to rehearse steering the rock up in the air. They picked up the rock the same day in the abandoned village, and the rabbit was right. The friends could fly on the carpet. Although their first few attempts at flying ended in a crash, after a few days and weeks, Griffy and Grey were really good at maneuvering the magic flying rock. Some weeks later, the day the birds began their journey back up north had arrived. In the days leading up to it, the two friends practiced flying the magic rock, and during the nights, they talked a lot about ice cream. Was there frozen water with sand, or with grass, or with termites, for instance? How much frozen water could someone eat? Would it make you tired? "Oh, it's a good thing that we are brave," Grey said to Griffy as they sat down on the magic flying rock, and he flew quickly after the flocks of birds. As a giraffe and a zebra, the two friends only knew the world from the ground. Griffy and Grey were thrilled with the view, even during their flight exercises at home with the carpet. But what they were experiencing with the birds was impressive. The landscape seemed endlessly, but it was also constantly changing. They flew day and night over stretches of land, forests and mountains. Only now and then the birds took a break, and Griffy and Grey were pleased about the time on the ground. Every time they stopped, Griffy would ask excitedly, So is there ice cream here yet? Are we here? Are we here? Can we eat ice cream here?" Birdie answered them, No, we need 2 more days. Then we'll be over a land where they call it gelati. You will hear it because the adults loudly shouted on the beach. We won't stay in that country. We have to fly on. Will you be okay on your own? Can you continue the adventure without us? Griffy and Grey looked at each other and nodded. We are brave. We can do it. You have already taken us this far, and we've memorized the way home. We thank you so much, Birdie. The birds were already gone when the 2 friends woke up the morning after the second night. Let's explore the area. We will surely find ice cream here. We should be looking for frozen water that humans call gelati, Griffy suggested. And so the 2 began the exploration. Grey shook every tree, and Griffy poked every rock. The 2 walked around with their eyes wide open, but found nothing that looked like frozen water. Do you think the bird lied to us, and there is no ice cream at all? Asked Grey with a doubtful voice. Grey, we've been only looking for a few hours. If it's something so brilliant that makes everyone happy, the small and the big humans, it's not easy to find. We have to keep on looking, and we will keep on looking. I'm sure we will find it. Humans looked at Griffy and Grey suspiciously, not understanding what the giraffe and the zebra were looking for in their town. But because the 2 friends made a very friendly impression, they did not pay further attention to them. The other animals in town asked them in their different animal languages if they had escaped from the zoo. But Griffy and Grey did not know what a zoo was, and therefore answered, No. Griffy and Grey found many exciting things they did not know from their home as they explored the different parts of the city. There was a place where little humans had many toys and played with other little humans. They called it kindergarten. And there were houses full of food, and humans would go in with empty bags and come out with full bags, full of food. And that's what they call supermarket. But still, Griffy and Grey had not found any ice cream or heard any gelati. We are brave, but we need a plan and an ally. We have to start asking for ice now, said Grey in an upset manner right after waking up. Birds. We need an ally among the birds. A bird has given us the tip about ice cream. So they got on their magic flying carpet, which had already flown them to many places, and set out to find a bird family. The first bird family they were able to locate were storks. Griffy and Grey knew storks because they also flew down south to Griffy and Grey's home in the savannah once a year. Hey stork, we need your help. We are looking for frozen water, Grey called out. So you mean ice? There is plenty of frozen water up at the North Pole. Here, you're in the wrong place. You have to fly north. Your magic flying carpet knows the way, I'm sure. Finally, Griffy thought. Finally, a hot lead. The flying carpet had traveled the world with the previous owner, knew its way around, and brought them towards the North Pole. It was a long journey, and after only a few hours in the air, the 2 friends could see that the land beneath them was turning white. They became curious and sat down for landing. Griffy, I think this is frozen water. Griffy, I think we found ice. That is ice, because it's frozen water. Look. Grey blew warm air onto the ice with his mouth, and it turned into water. That's what the bird told us. Ice is frozen water. The friends rolled in the snow and could hardly believe it. They had reached their goal. They found ice. But after a while they became quiet and looked around. Something was wrong. There is no one here. Didn't the bird say that humans love ice and they queue for it? There is no one standing here. There is no line. And no one yells, "Gelati," Griffy explained. After rolling around, the two friends got cold pretty quickly and jumped up on their magic flying rug, which had already become quite stiff from the cold and almost couldn't fly. That was nothing. We won't ask a stork for gelato again. Never again, Griffy said a bit sourly. Just then, they were over an island and saw a family of puffins. They look funny. Let's ask them, said Grey boldly. Hey, Papa Puffin, where do we find frozen water around here? Grey asked. The papa raised his head and spoke in an English animal accent. You have landed in Iceland? There's plenty of frozen water here. It is called ice, like this country. The euphoria of the two friends was tremendous, but somewhat restrained. Is it the white stuff here on the ground? Grey asked. Correct, that is ice, the Papa Puffin replied. That's when Griffy was inspired. No. We're looking for gelato, not ice. Ah, that is something else. You will find gelato in town, but not here, Papa Puffin replied. And again, a hot lead. So all they needed to do is to ask for gelato in the next town here in Iceland. We're so close, can you believe it? Griffy cried, jumping onto the carpet. Quick, I know, we've got it, we are so close. On the way to the town, the friends began to chant, full of excitement. Gelato, ballato, cravato, fanato, agato, imato, filato, rarato. Gelato, ballato, cravato, fanato, agato, amato, filato, rarato. The two shouted in their animal language, making an incredible noise, so loud that a family of birds flew up next to them and asked them what the fuss was all about and if they needed help. We are looking for gelato, frozen water, that makes little and big humans happy, Griffy explained. And the youngest bird immediately knew what they were discussing and offered to show them the way to the new harbor of the town. They could already see the line of humans as they were landing. It was a warm summer afternoon in Iceland, and many big and small humans were standing in front of a house. Others were sitting on a square in front of the house and had small, colorful scoops and a scone in their hands. They looked delighted and happy. This is gelato, and it tastes good to little humans, big humans, but also to us birds. Every now and then, a scoop falls on the ground, and we immediately fly over to nibble on it, the bird explained. The two friends could hardly believe their luck and got in line. The humans in line thought it was hilarious that a giraffe and a zebra were here, and stroke their fur. Griffy and Grey were not used to that and enjoyed the attention and friendliness of the humans. Griffy almost didn't fit through the front door, but once inside, the two couldn't believe what they saw. Behind a window were colorful cans filled with gelato. Strawberry, vanilla, hazelnut, chocolate. What would you like to try today? The girl asked. Griffy took a deep breath and exhaled, and then with a satisfied smile said, "Everything, just everything." "All right, you are big. You can eat some scoops. I'll give you an extra large portion of each kind, of each flavor. But in return, I get to take a picture of you. It does not happen that often that a giraffe and a zebra come to my ice cream parlor on a flying carpet," the girl behind the counter said. Griffy and Grey sat on their magic flying rug, enjoying the ice cream in the sun after all the trials and excitement of their adventure. Sometimes children would come by and pet the two friends. "Oh, what an adventure," said Grey. "Yes. Fortunately, we are brave. Now we understand why ice cream makes little and big humans happy. Sitting in the sun for a few moments and enjoying the frozen water, a gelato, is just fabulous," Griffy added. And today, Griffy and Grey's picture still hangs in the ice cream parlor in Reykjavik. The locals at the ice cream parlor until today tell the story to their children and grandchildren to explain that the little things in life can be wonderful if you have friends and if you are brave.